There is something very spiritual about making a decision. This morning, I woke up feeling very pathetic. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt pathetic. Um, just a few days ago, I had said that I don't want to get too comfortable leaning into comfortability just because it's offered, and I did just that. Um, and I just woke up feeling a bit worthless. But I wrote the excerpt in my journal, and I recognize that it's not that I shouldn't be feeling this way, but this isn't the way that I probably should be going about these feelings. However, these feelings still have arisen, and I have to let myself be a human being and make silly mistakes, even if I know that they're a mistake. But I say that to say something told me to bring my painting to work. I brought my painting to work. I didn't question it. When I got to work, something told me to play 417 frequency Hertz because that's where I left off. Played that. I started to feel better. Something told me to sit in the car as I played it. I did that. Something told me to position myself how I slept last night, backtracking. And it was like this. So my body was on top of the pyramid. I did just that. Something told me to, instead of trying to paint the leaves, start painting the rocks. I did just that. And as I was painting the rocks, I was like, I don't need to have all my shit together, the leaves. I don't need to be fully blossomed to continue the painting, to continue the journey. I'm not fully blossomed. I have many flaws. And I make mistakes, sometimes knowing that they are the mistakes that I'm making. Sometimes I'll say I'm not going to do something and then turn around and do it. But there is something very spiritual about making decisions. And each decision I made today has revealed itself to me of why I needed to make it. So when I started to paint the rocks, because every time I don't be wanting to do this painting because painting the leaves are tedious as fuck, and I lose my motivation as soon as because I don't want to do that. I just want to fill in the white spots. But I just kept telling myself, we'll do that once we get all the leaves painted. That translates to my life. I'll fill in all the blank spots once I deem myself ready to, once it looks a certain way. And now that I've painted in the rocks and I'm not done yet, I feel better about the painting. It feels more filled in. I feel more fulfilled with the painting. I feel more motivated to keep going. And I know the video I was watching last night where it was like everything's a reflection of you, as with this or without. I would always translate that to other people, and I would get very confused on why other people are coming into my life that like it's like but it's not always people. Sometimes making a decision reveals you to you. It tells a story about you to you. So when I was painting the picture, what I just said about I don't need to have all my leaves blossomed. I don't need to have everything perfect in order to keep going, to go to the next step. And it makes me feel better because, bro, I felt very fucking low this morning. And on top of that, I was late to work. I was an hour and a half late to work. And I just felt so, for the lack of better words, just pathetic. Because I'm just like, bro, I'm running on my auntie card on Uber. That was a big one. Because I'm like, I told myself not to fall into the comfortability. But I also crave that comfortability at the same time. It is nice to get an Uber to work. And although to some people this may be like, oh my, it's just an Uber, it's like other people's money. And as much as I love to make fun, it's like I'm spending other people's money, I do feel guilty when I spend other people's money. And just how, like, I keep talking about, even though they haven't really did anything to me. And it's just like, everything I said I wasn't gonna do, here I am again doing it. And then it makes me think, like, I'm no better than my family members. But I can't sit here and just be mean to myself like that, because then that would be true. I wouldn't be no better than my family members if I just sat here and agreed with all the thoughts that came in my mind about my actions. So, I'm painting at work, attempting to do something different with my time, attempting to just do something different. So yeah.